Hello everybody and welcome along to One Hub Racing. This is not F1, this is ACC and we are back for Season 4. It's been a long while, hasn't it? And we have got a packed calendar for you on the PlayStation side. The last 3 seasons we did PS4, but you know what? The new generation of consoles have came about on ACC, so we decided to bring that to One Hub Racing for the first time ever. The drivers will be racing on the PS5. Shame that PS4 drivers can't race with the PS5 drivers, but we've got a great turnout here tonight anyway, so that's really great to see. My name is Jess Ball, also known as Jess Gamer 95, and joining me in the commentary box for tonight, I'm very happy to say, I'm not alone tonight. I am joined by someone who is used to hosting the league for 3 seasons. He's obviously taken a break from it now, but he's decided to hop onto the commentary booth for tonight's race. It is Dexter. How are you doing tonight, Dexter?
Hello there, Jess. I'm doing fine, thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
Yes.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm very excited actually. It's been a long while since we've done obviously a bit of ACC, but yeah, it should be a good one as well. But there is a certain new game out today, but we don't really want to talk about that at the moment. We want to forget that even happened. But Season 5, we're starting off at Belgium tonight, but we've got 8 different tracks and a different format as well compared to last season. We're going back to Season 2's format where we had the Sprint Race Championship, which will obviously go into a little bit more detail in a second, but we've got Zolder this week, Donington Park next week. Those are all 60-minute races. Then we got our first sprint race of the season of Nürburgring, back to the format from last season. We're using that. And then after round 3, we obviously got the sprint championship format. We've got Imola, round 4. And then John's favourite track, shame he's not here this season, but we're going to Spa. And then we got Monza, Mount Panorama, and then we're finishing off in Silverstone for round 8, which is the endurance race. RIP my voice then at round number 8. So interesting calendar we got there, and the drivers have been asked about the sprint championship format. What do you guys think? What do you think of it, Dexter?
Well, I actually like the both the calendar and also with the introduction that we did with the sprint format and also with the endurance event. I think it adds an extra element if you just take the sprint races. Sometimes you can be unlucky, maybe at the start or something, or you're in quali, that you quali quite far down. But then, yeah, you have an extra shot in race 2. So I know it's only half the points, but again, you only lose half the points if you're unlucky and maybe in race 1, and you can gain a lot in race 2. So yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I think it went very well in Season 2 as well, because we saw people that we weren't expecting to do well in Split 2. And I think we saw the unknowns, like Liam, for example. We were expecting him to be in the top split, but he ended up being in the bottom split as well. So it can throw a spanner in the works there as well. So that is interesting. One other interesting format for this season is they are required to do a mandatory pit stop in the 60-minute races and in the endurance race as well, I believe. 1 mandatory pit stop required with a fuel and tyre change as well. And this is going to be interesting for Zolder tonight. You lose a lot of time compared to all the other tracks on the calendar, actually more than Spa, believe it or not, because Zolder is a short lap. So that is probably why that is the case at the moment. So it should be interesting to see what they're going to do in terms of pit stops and when they're going to pit as well. Are they going to pit early or are they going to pit late? We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, it's always a matter of preference, I would say, when it comes down to the driver. From my own perspective, when you have both requirements that you have to do both tires and fuel, I tend to split it almost 50-50. Depends a little bit on where you are in the race. Are you in a battle or so, then you might want to pit a little bit earlier to get out of that battle. And you might even want to overcut a little bit if you can as well. So I would say it depends on the situation for me, but every driver has their own preference. So we might see some starting really light on fuel, trying to build a gap, and then go for a little bit longer stint in the second one. So I guess we will see. There's a lot of new drivers here, so I don't really know what their preference are. So it's going to be exciting to see.
Good point, actually, you mentioned about the drivers. We've got quite a lot of drivers in the confirmed lineup, which is great to see. Now, it's not letting me change to broadcast mode in practice mode at the moment, which is a bit worrying. So I'm trying to fix that at the moment. But we'll go through our drivers whilst we wait for that. So we've got 20 in our lineup, but we only have 18 at the moment, which is we'll go through the ones that are here actually. So we've got Khalifa and Arnold. Arnold had pedal issues earlier on today. He's found a workaround, so glad he's racing here today. We have got Forza Brendan. He's in the BMW with Car Mentalist back in his well-known McLaren. Nice choice. We have got Ghost Freshy isn't here tonight. Neither is Matthias. We've got Sim Racer 1985. We've got Floppy Fox. Floppy Fox is one of the admins this season, taking over, obviously, Dexter this season. Best of luck to him, by the way. We've got Fernando Riff. We've got Camo Babbo. We've got Cam K, who's back. Everyone's going through across the order. We've got Parker. We've got Matthias. Boppo. We've got One Lost Sock. We have Andrejek. We have Tata Isbay. Oh my god, how I'm going to say that without a straight face? I don't know. And we've got Smithy Taz at the moment. So we've got all those 18 drivers at the moment. Let's see if I can actually try and go on to drive without... it's still selecting me even though I'm in spectator mode. That is very, very odd. And I can't choose the cameras, but it's very annoying. But 20 drivers, 18 obviously here tonight. One of which is, of course, a three-time champion who is looking to be the first 100 racing driver ever to make 4 championships in a row. The only person that's done 3 in a row is obviously Louis Welsh. Obviously, he's not here. So can't Car Mentalist make it a 4th?
Well, I guess we'll have to see. He's definitely one of the favorites. You should never count Car Mentalist out. That would be stupid. But again, we have a lot of new faces here. So I would say I won't make any decisions yet, for sure. We also have a very quick returning driver from last season in Iris the Bulldog. And we saw him being really, really fast last season. He's in the BMW this time around. So we will see what he can do there. I'm sure he can give Car Mentalist a run for his money. And otherwise, looking at the car choices.
I just realised I left my mic on mute.
Oh, you were...
I was speaking. Oh,
well, you were.
Yeah. Well, whilst I'm trying to get my PS5 to work with the cameras, because it's still not letting me choose the broadcast mode. It's still as soon as I go on to press drive, it selects me, even though I go on spectate, which is annoying. So we're getting one camera at the moment, and I need to turn racing line off as well. So whilst I do that, Zolder's quite an interesting track. Actually, we've got the action zones. We've got zones turn 1, of course, and then we got the final corner, turn 5, turn 7 is going to be quite interesting as well. We saw quite an interesting race in season 1. That's where we were last with in Zolder, and Car Mentalist actually took that win, and he's the only driver out of the top 3 that is here tonight. So we could see new people on the podium as well. Car Mentalist obviously looking like the favourite. Is Iris the Bulldog here tonight? Yes, he is tonight as well. Another favourite. Floppy Fox. Obviously, Arnold improved last season. Brendan's another one to watch as well. He's obviously Car Mentalist's good friend, and I wonder if he's learned a few tips from Mr. Aidan Carter here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite interesting. You can overtake here. It's not impossible. There is some, like you mentioned also before, some spots for overtaking. But it is not the easiest track anyway. If you get your exits right, it's quite hard to overtake because you don't have all the artificial stuff, like the other game that we won't talk about today. So no, no battery or no DRS wing. So it's all have to be done on exit speed and yeah, maybe a little bit of rubbing, but racing is about that as well. So maybe getting your elbows out a little bit within the rules. So we will see. We will see. But talking about the prime overtaking spots, I would say, and you have to say if you agree or not, Jess. But I
Yeah.
would say, of course, turn one is one of them. It's a good spot there, and also you got turn 5, the first chicane that you will meet, which is also very good because it's after a little straight. And then again, maybe turn 9 and also turn 11. If you're a little bit ambitious, you can do it there as well. So hopefully we'll see some good battles. I really look forward to it, and it looks like it's going to be a dry session. So
Yes.
just to hammer down, right?
Yes. So I think we got a bit. I think we have to have a bit of a workaround whilst I figure out why I can't spectate a driver when I go on to drive at the moment. It may be a PS5 thing as well. So whoever makes ACC, can you help us with that? Because we don't want any bugs or anything. So we got this workaround at the moment, and surprise, surprise, Car Mentalist is at the top with a 128.884. I can't remember what pole was last time at the moment. I think it was slightly faster than that. I'm trying to see who else is about to finish a lap. There's a number 2 of Boppo711, which I didn't mention in the confirmed driver lineups. He's about to start his run. Now, this is my, obviously, favourite part of the circuit as you head towards turn 1. Make sure you clip that curve nicely as well. Keep an eye on that pit exit as well during the race, because I think that could catch people out. That's also caught me out as well when I was doing a bit of Project Cars 2 in around Zolder, actually. I was doing some open lobby track at the time. I think it was about 3-4 years ago, actually, as well. And it's one of the shortest laps, but that's where you lose a lot of pit time, as you say, as well. And you're going to see a blind apex coming up soon. Not quite yet. If you clip this curve too much that I'm riding on board with Boppo now, then that could lead to a little bit of an issue at the moment as he clips that curb again as well. And I apologise, I'm not going to pronounce the names of some of the corners because they have, it's pretty much Dutch. They're Dutch corner names. So I'm not going to say it, and Arnoud will probably kill me if I pronounce it wrong. So I'm not going to bother saying it. But anyway, Boppo, he's going to go towards this back straight here towards the final few corners. Another action zone as well. Flicks it left as well. Nice that he's in Dexter's favourite car, actually. He's in the Ferrari. So let's hope he does well for Dexter's sake. Up to the line he goes. And that's P12 for the Ferrari driver in the GT3, of course. We're in a GT3 this season, no GT4s, and everyone's doing qualifying for the whole 20 minutes. So 2.7 seconds off the pace. Is anyone about to finish a lap who's coming across the line now? Quite a few people up to the line now. I see the front. Floppy Fox came across the line. P4 for him, 7 tenths off Carmine's list, but only a few hundredths off of Arnold there. So those two are pretty close. Same with Khalifa, as Brendan slots himself in P2 and Irish the Bulldog in P3. So close between the top 6 already.
Oh yeah, I would say P2, P3, P4. They're really close at the moment, and then you have just the 10th behind the next guys. So it's going to be really interesting qualifying. It looks like Kamentalis has the upper hand, at least so far. Still time, of course, of the qualifying. We have more than 12.5 minutes to go. So, but it's looking quite close, and that's only going to be good for the season, I would say. If we can have these close qualifyings all season, it's going to be very exciting to follow.
I think this is the first time we actually get to see these lovely liveries as well, and you get to judge if they're good or not, and if they're rubbish, you can call them out, especially your guys, if you want to. But I'm sure they've got some good liveries anyway, and we may as well go through one of our partners now for the Going Gets Tough award. ERT. Obviously you own that team as well. As someone cuts the corner there, that is Tatters Bay that just cut the corner. With their partner in the Going Gets Tough award, if you complete all your media day interviews, pre and post race interviews, and if you finish outside the top 3 in your respective split, and they provide the trophies as well for all league racing seasons, including F1 as well. Starting, well, we're not going to tell you when it starts. I'll be starting very, very soon, but ERT have been partnering the league for so many seasons on ACC and in F1 as well, and we're glad to have them back, and because of their appreciation, all ERT drivers get a free race entry in all the leagues that they take part in. And is anyone else on the lap? Oh, I think Tatters Bay is Tatters Bay is having a battle, I think, with Andrea for a little, or was it someone else? I think they're having a battle whilst they're doing the qualifying session. Hopefully they don't block each other in their lap, because that'll be a disaster as well. As we did have someone that just joined the lobby, a one lost sock. He's there as well. And
have a look at Iris. He just gained a lot of time there, and he's on a lap as well right now.
Yep, he is.
He's less than three tenths up to come into list. So.
Yep, he is. Don't forget, he was the man who rejoined. He joined late last season. And he set the impression right away, actually, didn't he? He was like, he was on. I think he won the first 3 or 4 races, including his front race as well. So since he's here since the start of the season, he could really mount a challenge in the title as well. And I think it's going to be between the top 2 really for the championship. As Iris the Bulldog, is he going to be good enough for pole? Well, we'll find out as he gets into turn 1. And the answer to that is no. I think he only just improved by a little bit. So got quite a bit of work to do. The number 11 car is up to the line next, R. Parker, with a nice yellow livery, and he's also in the Ferrari. 3 Ferraris here in his grid today, which is great to see, and it's P10 for him as well. Any of our returning drivers that's about to cross the line. We've got Floppy Fox, and he's management now, so Dexter, I expect him to do very well, otherwise he's going to let us down.
No, I'm sure Floppy. He usually do quite well. I'm not. Yeah, there he is, up to P3 actually. Oh, so maybe he felt the pressure. But it's good to see. We know he has the talent, so I'm sure that Floppy will do really well. And you say you talk about the Ferrari, but there's actually 4 McLarens, so.
Oh yes, including Car Mentalist. Has he got the same livery as season 1? I think yes.
I can see
yes, I think so. Yes. Oh, it's so annoying. I can't change cameras. I know you can't change cameras either, so it's not mine.
No, sad enough.
Yeah, so it's thank goodness it's not just me. Otherwise, I'm talking wrong, because it might just be a PS5 thing. Any other PS5 commentators, by the way, give us any tips on how to change cameras, please. Cause I absolutely hate these cameras, they're awful. But we're going to have to deal with that at the moment. But Car Mentalist, can he improve on this 128.5 up to the line, or is he going to start his lap? Oh, I believe he's going to start his lap. Yeah, he's about to start his lap. So we'll see in the number 43 if he could topple his timings at the moment. He's done a bit of GT7 in the last few weeks as well. Hasn't done many ACC as well. And GT7 is quite different to ACC, and the thing that both GT7 and ACC have in common as well, a good thing to talk about, Watkins Glen has been updated on the DLC as well, which we could have in another season on ACC. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously not this season, it's too late for that, but it's great to have more American tracks on the calendar. Also, we had Laguna Seca last season, and that was kind of interesting, wasn't it, Dexter?
Oh, it really was. It really was. It's another track that I like as well, and yeah, it's always fun to get around these tracks, I would say, and they're so different, right? You have like the longer tracks like Spa, which is a great track, and another good track. And then you have the shorter ones, which always create a lot of excitement, especially in quali. Because like you say, sometimes people can get in the way of each other, and not that people are doing it on purpose, but it's just the way it is when there's a lot of cars on the track. So different challenges, and it's good to see.
Yeah, and I know Evil Dragon in the chat is liking the fact that the ACC USA pack will be out soon. Well, yeah, it's out both on PC and PlayStation. He's actually making his debut in the ACC League on Thursday on PC. So one of our other admins is taking part in an ACC League for the first time. So best of luck. That's on Thursday, by the way, the PC side. And that will be a Super Trofeo Cup. So that will be at 7 PM UK time on our Twitch channel. Not us, we're not commentating. We've got two commentators that'll be making their PC debuts for the first time. But one of them has actually commentated on One Hub Racing before. But make sure you tune in 7 PM UK time for our very first PC League on One Hub Racing as well. So will be interesting. So 6 minutes left to go of qualifying. Carmental is still on top at the moment. I'm trying to go on board with someone that we haven't gone on board with at all. Fernando he's backed off a little bit, so he's going to go into the pits. Sim Racer's cut the corner a little bit there. I don't think you do that. I think you probably will get a warning. Anyone else further away? Corday is about to start turn 2. And apologies, by the way, if we get these names wrong. If the drivers do realise that we pronounced the names wrong, please say it in the chat afterwards. So we'll have to wait and see. So thoughts of Brendan though. He's only 8 tenths off of Carmentalist, and since both of them are good friends, I was expecting him to be a bit higher as well, because they both race in ACC quite a lot. But I think obviously the pressure with a new league and on PS5 as well is getting to him, and he's in the BMW as well. That is very brave. But Iris the Bulldog is also in a BMW as well. And what's different? What's different to the BMW compared to the other cars? Because not many people would pick that, but it's great to see 3 drivers have picked the BMW. I think we've got an even split for a lot of the cars actually. We've got Bentleys, Aston Martins, Audis, McLarens and Ferraris. I think no one is on their own in terms of being the only one in that make. And also we will have more drivers next week, because I think there was 2 drivers trying to get into the lobby, because we were meant to have 20 and we couldn't get it. So hopefully we'll get that sorted for next week. But I'll find out what cars they want to go into actually as well. But nice to have a split, Dexter, in car manufacturers. It's not like a lot of people have gone for the same car. I think the most is obviously McLaren's, which is... But anyway, Fernando up to the line. 1.2 seconds off the pace. Not too bad. But is he going to jump up, or is he going to start his lap? I believe he's going to start his next lap. But he hasn't improved, so he's going to go again. So, but yeah, nice to have a split, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a good mix of cars, and they all handle, very different. So it's down to the driver preference. If you what you like. Of course, the Bentley are really good on curbs, so that's beneficial here in the chicanes. I would say that you can really mount the curbs. So that's really good. And of course you have the Ferraris and the McLarens, which are, I would say, in a nice way, a bit more sensitive to the curbs. They tend to get quite unsettled when you go hard on the curbs. So you have to adjust your driving style a little bit. But you know what? Every track and car have a good and bad combinations, I would say, in this game. So whoever has maybe a good combination here with car and track might suffer in some of the other races. So and that's what I like with having different car makes on the grid here. And also we have a really good calendar, if I should say so. So it's gonna be exciting for sure.
Yeah, I think we've got a variety of different. Yeah, we got a variety of different times on chats on the calendar that could suit differently, and we know Car Mentalists in season 1 and in season 2 saying, "Oh, I'm not good at this track. I don't think I'm gonna do well," and then he either puts it on pole position and wins the race. So obviously he was doing a Lewis Hamilton there as well, but 128.3 for him, and Floppy Fox is not that far behind. And Iris the Bulldog has improved a bit more as well. Let's see if anyone else got the 785. That is Simray, so he's going to the pits actually. So we're on board with ERT Arnold. Not much practice, obviously, due to his pedals playing up at the moment. So he goes up to the line as he's about to start, or is not improving on his run. And then we've got the number... Is it number 12 or the number 2? It's hard to tell. Oh, it's number 2, Boppo, in P13. 2.8 seconds off the pace. And he's starting his run. I think everyone's on their final runs, it looks like, at the moment. And it's going to be tough to beat to beat Car Mentalist, but Floppy Fox is still in the bits. So he's not going to beat. He's not going to beat Car Mentalist time. So the only people going to beat them is, I think, Iris the Bulldog, Khalifa, Forza Brendan, and Drake and Arnold. Obviously, we don't know what the new drivers could do, so don't count them out just because they're like 3 seconds, 8 seconds off the pace. We will see what they could do. Obviously, Arnold has improved quite a bit from last season. I think he won a few races last season, didn't he? In the sprint, I believe. So and he also improved in the F1 season last season as well, as far as I'm aware. So he's becoming a staple in the one-hub racing leagues, and he's said he was very excited to race in the leagues as well. We'll talk about the pre-race interviews in a minute as well. Haven't gone through many because obviously we were trying to fix the issues about the streams as well. But let's find Arnold's pre-race interviews actually. Has he sent one? I don't think he has. But he was called in the rivalries actually with Khalifa. And they were both asked, who do we think is going to get the better of one another this season? Will there be any ERT team orders enforced? Arnold said Khalifa will have the upper hand because he's sweating the game like a psycho. And I can tell you I agree, because every time I go on PlayStation, I always see Khalifa on ACC. So there we go. Nevertheless, he's a fantastic driver, but I think McLaren will look good in the rear mirror of my Porsche as Khalifa is in the McLaren. And what Khalifa said as he goes up to the line, I think we'll have to wait until today to see who has the momentum for the first few races of the season. But I'm sure there'll be loads of battles between us, and there won't be any team orders. The gloves are off. Great to see. P4 for Khalifa. Commentless and Floppy Fox are in the pit. Iris the Bulldog up to the line. He can't improve. He's only in P3. 46 up next. That's Forza Brendan. He can't improve. 720. That reminds me of the 720 McLaren, by the way. Which I think Tata is in, believe it or not. He can only manage P17. We're just waiting on Matthias. I think it's Matthias Ryan. I think that's how you say it. As he goes through the final few corners. We've got the 107 out on the lap of Fernando, so we'll keep an eye on him. He needs to find 3 seconds to get on pole position, but I think at the moment it's all going to belong to Car Mentalist as Matthias up to the line. He improves, but not on position. P15. 92. Arnold. He comes across the line. He's in the pits. The number 11 of Parker, he slows down.
I just parked it, yeah.
So I believe that is it. Car Mentalist, once again, not really a surprise to everyone in the chat, is on pole position.
What a shock. Yeah, but it's you know what, it's I think it's a really good combination with Car Mentalist and a McLaren, and it seems like even though he was not happy with Zolder being on the calendar, that Zolder likes him. So so it looks good for him. But again, it's a long race, and a lot can happen, and it's a quite unforgiving track. So if you don't keep it on the black stuff and you go on the gravel, it's very close to the walls, or the walls are very close to the track, I would say. So it's quite unforgiving if you just lose your concentration for a split second, or you might be pushed a little bit or whatever. So we will see. I don't hope that for anyone, but it's unforgiving. So you'll have to be on it all the time. It demands a high amount of concentration.
And speaking of Car Mentalist, actually, he was brought into the driver's press conference by the media, and he was asked, do you think there's a driver this season that will be able to knock you off your high horse? And he said he feels like he's getting quite lonely this high up, would love for someone to reach his heights, but hard to know who can. There's also so many new drivers, it's hard to know who will be fast. I kind of like that. Because He likes a challenge, and if people don't like challenges of fighting against someone, then what's the point of racing? So, you know, for our sake and for Car Mentalist's sake, let's hope we have someone challenging him. And we got a few new drivers who have been asked about the season ahead. So let's pick out someone who was in the lobby. Fernando, there we go. So the first question was, tell us your feeling about the season. He's new around here, and his goal this season is to learn much as possible and train. And there were multiple delays this season. Do you think the ACC community has suffered as a result of PS4 or PS5 split? Most likely, but what matters is the best experience for each one. He likes the calendar. His goal is to increase pace in each race, and practice is really important. So that is, I think that's a good answer from him as well at the moment. So that is great to see at the moment. As I believe we're about to get started with the formation lap. A quick mention of our sponsors. We're sponsored by Next Level Racing, who are providing prizes to our leagues this season. We also got Pure Sim Gear, that provide a pair of sim racing gloves for our F1 leagues. We got Vespertine, that'll provide merch and also support our championship prizes. And of course, we mentioned the ERT earlier. And we also got SimGrid, who help us manage the standings and the sign-ups. It's our second season that we're doing this, so thank you very much to SimGrid as well. Been very, very helpful, and they've done a good job. So, I think we are about to get underway with the race. Still won't let me choose camera, which is frustrating. So we have to make deal with these annoying cameras for the time being. But at least I don't have to change scenes every time I go on drive. So that's always that I think that's a silver lining. At least I don't have to change the cameras on OBS. So that's always a good thing. But anyway, I'm gonna put you on the spot, Dex, to predict your top 3.
Oh, thank you very much for that in my debut here. Top 3. Well, it would be easy to say that the guys starting P1, P2, P3 are gonna finish in maybe not that order, but those are the guys finishing there. But I see something different happening. So might be that Khalifa can sneak his way in. He's not far off. He's in P4 now, so maybe he can have a good race. He's good on strategy, so who knows? Maybe he can jump people on strategy.
To be honest, I'm impressed with Khalifa in P4 at the moment. He's doing well. Brendan up there as well. I'm going to predict top 3. I think Carmental is going to be up top. I think, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. But I think Iris the Bulldog. Actually, no. I'm going to change it. I think Iris the Bulldog has the pace to, challenge the top 2. So I think Iris the Bulldog for the win. Carmental is second, and I'm tied between Floppy Fox and Khalifa for P3. I'm gonna go with Floppy Fox. Sorry, Khalifa. But usually the ones I predict to do well, sometimes deals with commentators' curses for me. So Khalifa can back me later. But anyway, Carmentalist with luckily that was ghosted for the time being. Jeez. Carmentalist with his season 1 livery. About to get the season in style. This is a rolling start, by the way. So we are about to go green very soon. Can't tell when we go green because of the cameras, unfortunately. But we will try and do as much as we can. So the very first race of season 4 is a go. And it looks like a decent start from Carmentalist, actually, as they make their way towards turn number 1. As all they make contact, Carmentalist and Floppy Fox gone off the track. Iris the Bulldog has overtook both of them, and he's in the race lead. Khalifa, is he in behind Iris the Bulldog? Yes, he is. Khalifa's now into P2. So, my oh my, drama already on the first lap between the top 2. That is a shame. That promotes, Forza Brendan is behind these two at the moment, having a little bit of a squabble. We've lost one driver from the race already. I don't know what has happened, unfortunately. As the timings have decided to change for a little bit, but that is normal in ACC, unfortunately. But what a scrappy start there. But Iris the Bulldog, he was just waiting patiently, and he took the race lead.
Yeah, and we also had a couple of spinners in the rear end of the grid, and but yeah, let's see, and when the timing boards they update, but definitely not the start that Cummins was looking for. Yeah.
Down to P7, I believe.
Exactly.
And he's having a battle with Sim Racer, and he's got Camo Babbo in his sight as well, I believe. It's annoying that the numbers, I don't think, for some of the cars are not matching some of the drivers as well, which is very, very, very frustrating. But that's why the PC one is a lot better, because it lets you choose your numbers. As pit lane is open, by the way. So I should have checked with Floppy Fox earlier. Is pit windows open? Or do they have their own pit windows?
No, the pit window will open for 20 minutes, and that's in the middle of the race. So,
so
20
same
minutes
as last
into
season.
the race. Yeah, it's the same as last season.
Oh.
So they have to complete their stop within those 20 minutes. And as you said already, it's a tire change and it's also refueling. But how much they started on, they might start a little bit lighter and pit early in the pit window. But we will see.
We've got a big train happening at the moment from, I think, Camo Babbo downwards. Fernando as well is having a very good race. I think he's gained 2 positions. And don't forget, another rule to this league, which is not in our F1 leagues. This is only exclusive to ACC. Comeback point. A single point will be awarded to the driver in the top 10 who gains the most position from the qualifying to the race. And then we got a separate comeback point for people outside the top 10 who finish outside the top 10 who gains the most position from quali to the race. So Fernando doing a good job at the moment, and I think obviously Floppy Fox being the biggest loser at the moment out of all that. I'm actually impressed that he's keeping going at the moment. Cam doing a good job at the moment, up to 9th as well. He was there in season 1. He didn't race for the next 2 seasons, but I think we as admins persuaded him to join this season, and he's here. So in 9th, doing a decent job, and he's got his fellow management member Floppy Fox behind him. Let's see if he could go on a defence as well, as Floppy Fox tried to go down the inside, couldn't quite work, into turn 2 and 3 I believe as well, but I think Floppy Fox has the better traction in that Ferrari. Cam in that Bentley, which is a bigger car, so it is expected to be a bit harder as well. Keep an eye on the battles up front as well, as Carl Mentor is 2 tenths behind Fernando in P6 at the moment, but the closest battle is between Cam and Floppy Fox. I thought Floppy was going to send it in that curb there, but he's just waiting patiently. I think most people are waiting patiently at the moment after what happened with Carl Mentor and Floppy Fox right now. Floppy Fox is still doing what he can at the moment, but he's probably not like being in the top 10 at the moment. But at the end of the day, this is not when the championship is won. The championship starts pretty much at the split championship in round 4, but these 3 races pretty much decide what split you're going to be in the sprint championship format. So if you have 3 horrible races, you're going to be in split B, well, split X, and that's Z, which is the bottom split, and you don't want that, do you?
Of course, you want to be in the top split, and again, it's only 3 races that decides what split you're going to end up in. So it's you have to really be on it, and it's not good to come from Zolder with a bad result for sure. But again, it's a long race. We have 55 minutes left of the race, and a pit window and everything to cope with. So let's see. But yeah, for sure not to start that both Floppy and come into this wanted. But I think Floppy is a little bit stuck behind Cam in that Bentley. It's known as the Boatley.
That is true.
It's so wide and big, right? So it is a tough one to get past. But yeah, Floppy, he knows how to drive, so I'm sure he will try and set it up the best way. And he's a clean driver as well, so when he does, he's gonna go for a good move, I'm sure.
He has straight line speed as well, coming through that back straight there. And the Bentley actually is a front engined car, a V8 turbo engine. Quite a lot of engines are I think some of them are V6, some of them are V8, and some of them are V10 as well. So quite different as well. And with front engine cars, they behave a lot differently to the rear engine cars. Floppy Fox is in the Ferrari. And the Ferrari's a mid-engined car. Oh, as there was a bit of contact from both Floppy Fox and Cam, as Floppy Fox has made contact with 2 drivers this race, and it's not gone well at the moment, as I think someone has just rejoined the session who's disconnected, so that's good. So One Lost Sock is back, but he's going to be so many laps down right now. But if he keeps going, then fair play to him. I don't think you are allowed to lead the session unless you're disconnected, so he's got to have properly proof that he has disconnected. Carmen's is back up into P6, so a good recovery from him. But Iris the Bulldog is running away with it at the moment in P1. 5.266 seconds clear of Arnold, as Carmentis has just overtaken another driver. He's overtaken Camo Balbo for P5.
Yeah, and I was just watching that fight actually, and it was really clean. It was good driving. He got the extra speed on Camo, so just a very clean move, and I'm sure he has set his sights for the next car, so he's gonna go for his buddy Brendan there.
Yes.
But I have to really say, Arnold being in P2 with his broken brake pedal and not much practice because of that. I know he got a few positions at the start because of what happened, but still, hanging on to P2 and a good gap down to Khalifa. I would say he's doing quite well there.
I did say he was a dark horse. I did say he was a dark horse in this session because he did well last season as well. He was near the front towards the end of last season as well, so not really surprised as he kicked a bit of gravel there, but not lost a bit of time. But obviously I think quite a lot of the ERT boys won't be in a party, so with Arnold and Khalifa, obviously we were talking about them in the rivalries earlier. They were being told that they are allowed to fight at no team orders, but if it gets to a situation later on in the season, team orders obviously may be in place for them, but those two work well together anyway. If one person in the championship fight and someone else isn't, they're not going to fight too much really, because I don't want to see the ERT chat at the end of the race if that happens in round 8 of the season in Silverstone, which is the final race of the season. That was our first test race, I believe, this season. Oh, drive-through penalty for car number 1, and that is One Lost Sock, who's just joined the session. So bit unfortunate there for One Lost Sock, but
probably speeding in the pit lane, leaving the pit lane or something.
Yeah, I think it was exiting the pit lane. Now, some of these drivers, don't forget, Dexter, these are rookies. They've I think for quite a few of them, that is their first race on ACC on console, and that's very brave to jump into quite an experienced grid. And that is one of the things that I get caught out on as well. Is it's not like F1 where you can control the speed of exiting the pit lane. It is a lot different in ACNI racing. You have to control the speed yourself. So that's very, very important. You got to control your speed while going into the pit lane and exiting the pit lane. So if you are watching this and brand new to AC, that's what you obviously got to consider. Riding on board with Fernando, is he going to try and get past Camo Babo? I'm seeing quite a lot of these rookies doing very, very well. Obviously, I don't know if they're rookies to ACC in general or in just one hub. I think I can tell Fernando is not new to ACC, because otherwise he wouldn't be catching up to Camo Babo like this. I think he's as he's kicked a bit of gravel there, Sim Race has actually got past him in that BMW. So Sim Race is up to 7th, Fernando's up to 8th, and the time is updated quite quickly there.
Ooh, Floppy going for a move now.
Floppy Fox going for a move as he's backed off a little bit there. Brendan's only 16 100ths behind his RVL compatriot, his friend Carmentalus there. So is Carmentalus struggling, or is Forza Brendan having a good comeback at the moment? I don't know. Or did Carmentalus get past him? I'm not entirely sure.
Carmentalus got past Brendan, I think.
Yes.
I don't know if he made it a little bit easier for him. I didn't see it. There's contact between Floppy and Cam there.
Again, I think it was the 3rd or 4th time they've done it.
Cam is off track. Sadly, I didn't see all of it, so I don't know who is to blame, if anyone. But it was a little bit of contact, and Cam had a slide into turn 9. So he's back on track again. But of course, it cost him a position.
Yeah, that is a bit of a shame there from them as well. Cam dropping all the way down into 12th place as well.
Actually, every
every time I talk good about him, he drops down to 12th. So I know Cam's going to talk bonkers to me at the end of the race, saying, "Why did you curse me?" Well, because you were doing good, and now you're doing rubbish. Now I say he's doing rubbish. Let's hope he does well.
It evens out. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? All Mentalist, I have to say, is having staged a good comeback. He's all the back of Khalifa. As I'm gonna get the track map up, because otherwise I'm not gonna know what the corners are if that's the case. So I believe coming up soon is, I think turn 10, 9 and 10, which is I can tell it's quite easy because it's kind of a sweeping hander coming up, and then you're going to be heading towards Jackie Ick corner. I'm not going to pronounce. Well, by the way, that's why I called it corner and said what it is in Dutch. By the way, I'm just going to call it corner because we know what it's called. Jackie Ick, I believe, was a Formula 1 driver as well, and liked Zolder very much actually. So Carmen's 10-1.
He's a legend on Le Mans as well.
He is.
Jackie. So,
he is.
And all in all, a good racing driver for sure. Legendary.
And I thought Carmentis was going to go for a move into turn 1 there. Oh, Khalifa made a mistake there, and Carmentis was like, "Thank you very much. That's my position gain." Is the podium places already now? Is that?
He's on a charge.
He's on a charge. He is the season 1, 2, and 3 champion for a reason. But don't forget, he was GT4 champion last season, and he was Split X champion in season 2. So obviously, will he be? Well, if he wins the first 3 races, obviously he's going to be in Split X. I'm almost certain. And if he's not in Split X, then probably the admins will put him in Split X anyway. Because it'll be weird for a reigning champion to not be put in a Split X at the moment. But yeah, he's already up to 3rd. He's already catching up to Arnold. Look, he's on another level. He was on pole position for a reason. He's like, what does he remind me of? He reminds me of Lewis Hamilton in Brazil last season, where he started at the back of the grid, and in 2 days he got to win the race. He was in about, I think, 8th after that spin earlier, and he's all the way up into 3rd.
Yeah, exactly. And you just have to take your hat off. You know, it's really good driving, and he just shows his abilities behind the wheel, especially over McLaren. I think it's his favorite GT3 car. He usually drives in that one, I would say. So yeah, his pace is really good. So let's see. Maybe he used the tires quite hard this first stint, trying to catch back up. But again, the pit window is soon opening, so we will see who will pit when. But really nice comeback from Competizione. Really is.
Yeah, I think that's about what's happening at the moment. Then we've got Fernando on Camo Babo as well in the Bentley. They're both in Bentleys actually, so equal machinery. So both versus boat at the moment between these two. As both of them cut the corner actually, naughty. But I think we get a warning there, but because they both cut the corner, that's probably evens out a little bit. So they got away with that, cheeky buggers. But Sim Racer's not that far behind. Same with our Parker as well. We got Tata is a lap down, but Tata is still in this race. Let's look at car mentors actually, as he's sizing up a move on ERT Arnold. I'm sure this is going to be a move into turn 1, or is he going to do what he did with Khalifa and force Arnold into a mistake? So he likes to force people into mistakes, in a good way of course, to put people under pressure. And I wonder if commenters will be talking about Arnold in his in the interview later on. As no move is being made there, so Arnold doing a pretty good job holding off the reigning champion, and Khalifa's still in this fight as well, don't count him out. And obviously Fernando just still closing in on ERT Camo Babo as well. And yeah, I think it's going to come down to the pit stops as well, because I think some people are just saving their tyres at the moment because they're going to get fresh tyres later on. You don't really want to be pushing too much too early on, because otherwise your tyres are going to be so hot right now at the moment. Track temperature at the moment, 31 degrees. The wind actually is picking up just a little bit as well compared to earlier on. Luckily no rain on the horizon, even though obviously it's set to dynamic weather. Carmentis wasn't going to go for a dive bomb there. I thought he was going to go for it there for a minute.
Thought better of it.
Yeah, he thinks better of it as well. It's been nice to see these ACC drivers being very, very patient. Obviously, they read the steward's briefing, which is great to see at the moment. But we are going to go to the final corner. Is he going to go for it? Is he going to go for it, Carmentis? He's got the traction.
Turn 1.
He's got
maybe turn 1.
Yeah, turn 1. He's going to go for it. To the left-hand side he goes. Still hate that camera, by the way. But he's going to... now does he... Both of them just about leave each other's space in towards turn 2. Ooh. He holds his line and goes Arnold. Did a very good job in defending once again. Carmentis could go for the switchback a bit more. As they head towards turn 3 and 4. No, Arnold stays ahead of Carmentis. Yes, very good driving from Arnold there. And Carmentis must be feeling a little bit wide at the moment. And what's even more worrying is they're going to be approaching a lapped car. So they need to move back. The lapped car must keep their line.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope they comply with the blue flags and leave space, because there's a lot of cars coming through. Khalifa as well. He's just on the bumper of Carmentis. So, but yeah. Actually, the lap car had a little bit of a contact with Khalifa, so he lost some momentum. But,
that was the number 720 of Tata's Bay at the moment.
Yeah, there was a slight contact in the chicane there, but Khalifa is hanging on to Carmentis. He was like only half a second behind him before, so it's a nice little train. Yeah.
I wish the spectator cameras were properly there to actually just see how good the train was as well, because it would have been nice to use in future trailers as well. But this is better than nothing. Better than nothing, of course. And thoughts to Brendan.
You have Brendan. I was about to say you have Brendan just behind Khalifa too. So it's it's quite close there from P2 to P5.
I have to say, Brendan, I've known him to be a quick driver on F1 and also on ACC as well, and he likes obviously ACC more. And he's been looking forward to this season a long time, actually, is Brendan. And obviously I know him from other leagues as well, but obviously he's impressing us at the moment. And imagine if obviously Carmentis and Brendan end up in the same tier, how that rivalry's going to stand. And if they don't end up in the same tier, well, maybe will they decide to team up together, maybe, potentially. That could be interesting as well, because I believe you have to team up with one person from the bottom split if you're in the top split, which is like it was in Season 2. And that's where points obviously get decided after that. And Brendan was feeling excited to go racing, and he's actually running no assists, actually, as well. This league, I believe, is not restricted to what assists you run. It's just like F1, I believe, where we do welcome anyone from any background, any assist as well. So if you want to join a league that is friendly as well and welcomes any assist, you can do. But Brendan is deciding, what's going on. Carmentis on Arnold.
Yeah.
Carmentis eventually gets the move done this time after 3 or 4 laps. And there we go, he gets past. More crucially, Dexter, the pit lane window is open. The 20-minute countdown has started. They got a pit between now, which is a 40-minute window, and 20 minutes. So as long as they pit then, they should be fine. Is anyone close to the pits that's going to take advantage? Maybe Corday? No, he's not taking advantage of that. But yeah, people can pit as of now, and it will count towards their mandatory stop.
Exactly, and when we talk about the pit lane, it's actually this track you lose a lot of time when you pit. So again, this it might be a little short track, but that again affects because you have a slow pit lane. So it's actually 77% of the lap that you lose pitting. So you lose 68 seconds when you take both fuel and tires. So it's quite important to how to that you're very precise on your pit entry, the exit, and also that you do your stop whenever it's best for you. Like I talked about earlier, if you're in a battle or whatever and you can't get by, then you have the option to pit and try and work from there.
Exactly, and you could pretty much force the driver to pit when they don't want to as well, if they're not experienced enough as well. And speaking of that, 2 drivers are in the pits already, one of which is Floppy Fox in P10 at the moment. For those of you that are wondering why Floppy Fox is down low, well, he got involved in a lap 1 incident with Carmentis, a little bit of a love tap, as it were, as well. Would it be investigated by the stewards? I don't know. And he missed his pit box a little bit as well, but he is back in his pit box, which is great to see. So his car will be serviced. Will that allow the likes of Boppo maybe in the next lap, potentially? Cam, Corday, maybe the guys that are lower down at the moment. And speaking of Parker, he's passed. Or is he past the lapped car? I think he's past the lapped car.
Yeah.
Of Smithy's
we have Khalifa really close to Arnott now, so the 2 drivers from the rivalries are battling it out like I hope they would.
Wow, I mean, you know, whoever picked the rivalries for this week, well, it's not me, I posted it on someone's behalf, but whoever picked them this week, they picked a right pairing because they're both going for it. They really are.
This is gonna be like this all season, Jess. Don't worry.
Can that person pick out my lottery numbers, please? Honestly, they're predicting well. As here comes Khalifa down he's actually going the right-hand side at the moment as well, but he's not going for it. He's pulling away. This is allowing commenters to pull away from these. Oh, we have a spinner. That is Tata. That is Tata. So he's now in the pit again, and he's got damage. So what a shame. And for those of you that are new to ACC, the green means that they've done their mandatory pit stop. They've done the fuel and tyre stop required. If they have a 1 next to their name, means they've got to do 1 stop. As Forza Brendan is in the pits.
Yes.
So one of the first of our leading bunch to go and do his mandatory stop.
Oh, Arnold had a spin.
Oh no, that is a spin. Oh no, that is a shame. That is a shame. Is that the sign of his brake pedals playing up a little bit? It might be, you know.
I think it's just the Porsche being the Porsche. It is. It is a handful, and we actually we actually teased Arnold a little bit because he just loved the Porsche, and we were both me and Khalifa were telling him, but you're gonna spin in the Porsche. So I'm a bit sad to see that happened, but yeah, hopefully he can recover. He's on his way to the pits now, and
what a shame. What a shame. That was a nice battle with Khalifa as well.
It really was. It really was. So maybe he pushed a little bit too hard, and the tires were going off. So you never know, but we'll see. Still half the race to go, so he has time to come back, I would say.
Well, Carmentis came back from where Arnold was right now, so if anyone can do it, Arnold could do it, and he has similar pace, so, you know, it is not over for him, as you were saying, in the Porsche. I think he's the only driver in that Porsche out of all 16 drivers, so I'm surprised not many people picked the Porsche. I thought a lot more people would pick the Porsche, but don't forget there's still some drivers that were trying to join, but could have joined, that may have picked the Porsche as well. I will need to ask those drivers what cars they picked, because hopefully it's a Porsche, so Arnold is not on his loadsome next week. But we will see anyway as they join. Bulldog stays out, so he's not being threatened by Brendan or Floppy Fox's pit stop at this moment in time.
Yes, he has a big gap. He pretty much controls it from there. All he has to do is keep up this pace and keep it on the black stuff. Then he should be good, I would say. I don't think Carmentis can catch him. There's 16 seconds of a gap, and I think they're quite similar paced. So it's looking good for Iris, I would say, definitely.
Yeah, the man who I predicted is going to win this race, and if he doesn't win this race, then he could blame me, because I was.
Don't jinx him.
I predicted him to win the race at the start of it. So, and he's doing well, but touch wood, jinx. Anyway, Boppo is in the pits, so he's going in for his mandatory stop as well. Carmenta stays out for the time being. But it's a short lap though, don't forget. So they will be thinking about it. They don't have very long though, so they don't want to be driving and finding their rhythm and suddenly realise actually they don't have long to go until their pit window is over, because they will get a time penalty if they don't pit. I'm trying to remember what it is on this game if you don't do your mandatory pit stop. But obviously
Is it 130 seconds or so?
Yeah, I think it's around. I think it's around about that. So that will probably drop you to P15, I believe. If you're not P15 at the moment. So.
And I just okay, he just went into the pits. I was about to say if we could have a look at Camo Babel, because he just got up to Khalifa actually.
He's in. Iris is in.
Camo is in. Iris is in.
Quite a lot of people going in. Carmental staying out. Khalifa staying out. Fernando staying out. R. Parker staying out. Sim Racer, Cam, Matthias, Arnold. Well, Arnold's going to be there for quite a bit of time as well. So we'll have to wait and see your order then. So Carmentalist is leading in the way at the moment. But on track, he's still yet to stop. So we will probably go through your positions properly once everyone has made their stops well. And watching Sim Racer, he was having a battle there as well. And
I was about to say, did Arnold pit earlier?
He pitted before the pit window.
Did he?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Otherwise, he has not met all the requirements in the pit, because it still has the number 1 next to his name.
Yeah, I don't remember him pitting when everyone else did.
Okay, so maybe just a spin and no pit. I thought I saw him going into the pits, but
It might have been another car that looked like Arnold, but I'm not entirely sure. But if anyone's jeffing Arnold, could probably tell me in the chat. That'll be lovely. Or I know Apex could tell me, because Apex is in ERT. Hint hint. Speaking of ERT, Khalifa's in. Carmentalist is in.
Apex just said in the chat that Arnold did pit, so either he pitted outside the pit window.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he pitted outside the pit window, so you will have to pit again.
Or he didn't take both fuel and tires, maybe.
Well, the drivers were told to read the rules. The rules are on the SingGrid website, which that's where I got them from and wrote on my notes, because that's how I got the notes in the first place. So, yeah, they have been told to read the rules, and if they don't read the rules, then they're naughty engines. As the Fat Controller would say on Thomas the Tank Engine. But there you go. Mr. Evil Dragon would like that reference, but there we go. So,
you have Commentalist and Khalifa, right? So
let's watch Iris the Bulldog, actually. He's gonna be comfortably ahead of these two.
Oh yeah, he's
way ahead.
Exactly, he's coming into turn 2.
And these two are still in the pit, so Iris the Bulldog has timed that stop perfectly.
But those two are just next to each other, Khalifa and Commentalist, right? So they can continue their battle after the pit stop.
Yep, as Matthias comes out of the pits as well. Oh, nope, he's going into the pits. Okay, he missed his pit box. So we're just waiting on Arnold, Taz, Tata, Cam, Sim Racer, R. Parker, and Fernando to come into the pits. So they'll need to do it in 10 minutes, don't forget. Otherwise, they'll be in a little bit of trouble right now. So Iris the Bulldog, original net race leader, Khalifa in P2. Carmentalist in P3. He's now closing in like no tomorrow. Just look at that closing speed in that McLaren as well. To be honest, I like the McLaren on ACC, so he's picked a good car, and it's purple. And 100 Racing is purple, so you know he gets extra brownie points right there. Carmentalist third, Camo Babo fourth in ERT colours. Arnoud in fifth with his Belgium colours, I believe. The Belgian waffle. It was his team last season, I believe, wasn't it? With Samba.
Yes.
Love that name. One of my favourite names out of the whole grid.
The waffle team.
Yes, yeah. I can see why, because it is actually, the colours are of the Belgian flag is kind of like a waffle. I do know, because I do have waffles every evening. And they're quite lovely. So, yes, any surprises so far out of the... Let's talk about the rookies, actually, the ones that we haven't seen in the last few seasons. Any surprises right now? Because I have to say Fernando is... Speaking of Fernando, he's in the pits, but Fernando, I think, seems to be doing a better job out of the rookies that we don't know about. Obviously, Brendan as well doing a great job. But, yeah, Fernando's been the standout, I think, so far.
I would say so. We saw him fighting with Camo Babo earlier, and the Boatley versus Boatley. And he seems to have really good pace. So I haven't seen him race before, but I would have to say it looked like he has a really good pace. So hats off to him. And Sim Racer as well, I think, has done quite well. So let's see. It's looking promising. But as you said also earlier, we like to have people with different abilities here in one hub. So everyone is welcomed, and it's looking to be a really good season. There's battles, I would say, all through the grid. And that's good to see.
I believe PC sign-ups are still open, I think. I'll need to double check that. I know PS sign-ups are closed, but if you are on PC and want to race with us on Thursday, go onto our SimGrid website. I think there's about 16 drivers that signed up on PC right now. And
if you want to beat me, then you can sign up.
Yeah, Dex is racing, Evil Dragon's racing. Apex is racing, Samba's racing as well. Even Johannes is racing as well, from who was on PS, I think, as well. He's moved over to the PC permanently as well. So you've got all these lovely people to race against, and obviously we're not going to go through all the lineups. That's for the PC commentators to do, and we even got a talented commentary team for that as well. We've got it all at One Hub Race. We've got great drivers, we've got good commentators, and Brendan has he passed Arnold, or is he having a battle with Arnold?
I don't know if Arnold had a little issue there, because he lost 2 positions, both to Brendan and also to Floppy. So I don't know if he had a little spin, or maybe got off track slightly.
Thanks for the plug, Apex, there, for putting the link in the chat. Yeah, I was gonna sign up by now. Wouldn't be very good, and that's why I'm in the box on Tuesday nights as well. But yeah, it does cater for all abilities anyway as well. But I have seen the drivers that are racing in the PC League, and there are some quick drivers, so I'm excited. Obviously, a few people making their returns, a few people making their debuts as well, and I'm excited to watch it on Thursday. And it's a Trofeo Cup around Italy, the Italy tracks. Can't remember what the first track is. I need to look at the calendar actually.
It's Monza.
Oh yes, Monza.
The Temple of Speed, right?
Yeah, Temple of Speed. So that's on Thursday, and I know we're racing at Misano as one of the other tracks, and Imola. And
Imola is the last one. It's an Italian theme. It's one of the last things that I did while I was in the management team and in One Hub. We got that season sorted, and
before you handed it over to Floppy and Apex and Kingan.
Exactly, and I know that these guys will continue, and they do so well. So
they're already doing a great job already. So
exactly, it's in safe hands.
All you need to do is turn the server on and off.
True. I hope I can manage that.
That's all you do. Right? Everything else is left up to the rest of us. So Sim Racer, by the way, is in the pit, so that just leaves, and so is Taz and Tata. So
we need Cam to pit now as well,
and Arnold. So those two still need to do their final stops, and that'll be everybody. that would have done their stops as well, and then we will go through the order.
It might be a glitch. We have seen that glitch on the game, I think, at least on PS4.
I believe that happened, was it Belgium? Register. Was it Belgium, I believe, Spa? Oh, Arnold's in. Arnold is in the pits. I believe he did pit when...
He either didn't pit or he knew that it was wrong.
He might have forgotten that there was a pit window. Yeah, he might have forgotten there was a pit window, which is easy to do. It's the first race. It happens, but he's pitted now, so or he might have forgotten to put fuel or tyres in. Probably tyres. So most likely tyres.
We will know after the race, but it's a bit of a shame he has to come in again because that will drop him a few positions back. Maybe he'll just lose, I don't know, maybe just one. But
Cam's in as well. So that is everybody that's on their mandatory stops, Dexter.
Yeah, that's good to see.
So everyone listening to the rules, lovely. You see, we are doing something right. They do follow the rules, which is great to see. But obviously, we will have some new drivers next week, which hopefully will do the same as what these drivers are doing at the moment. So obviously, we've got these dedicated drivers at the moment here. As Camo Babo's on the grass. As he's lost a bit of time to Fernando Riff. He's now in 5th position at the moment. We'll move up to 4th once Cam has finished his pit stop.
Yep.
As he's just entered his pit slot. So I think he would drop behind, I think 4th's of Brendan, I believe. Because I don't think... Because it says our Parker's a lap down on my end, but I don't think he is. No, he's not. Okay, he's not. It is a time he's being a bit glitchy, so he'll drop down just a tiny bit. So yeah, Fernando will be in P4. Cam, I don't know where Cam will be at the moment actually, so we'll keep an eye on that. But let's know your predictions in the chat as well on who you think is going to do well, and obviously the admins behind the scenes will also do the math on who will get the comeback point inside and outside the top 10. So they could do the math whilst we could call the action. How about that?
Exactly. I think that's a fair trade. so
I can't do maths.
No, not while we're commentating. This is too exciting, you know.
Yeah, this is too exciting.
There's a lot of good bells, and I would say we have Brendan closing in on Floppy for P7. So there might be a battle coming there in a few laps, and of course also the two boatlists at it again. Camel trying to catch up to Fernando in P4, and Fernando doing really well as we spoke about earlier. He's maybe one of the positives from the new drivers that I didn't know in.
I think like I said, he's ACC. I think he's got a lot of ACC experience. I think so. Indeed. I would like to know what leagues he's in. I would like to know what leagues he's in. So I will ask him at the end of the stream, or if he's watching this back, can you message me saying what league you're in, please? Do we have a battle, or is it being lapped? Oh, it's Camo Babo and Floppy Fox, actually. Yeah, it is a battle. It's not lapped guard, it's actually a battle. Floppy Fox has got past Camo Babo for
I think Camo
P5.
had a moment.
Yeah, he had a moment there as well. So Floppy Fox he's also on a combat charge as well and doing a decent job.
Yeah, the first stint was not good for him. He seemed like he was stuck, you know, in what was it, P10 or something. And but now in the second stint here, he's actually doing quite well. He has picked up the pace and done some good overtakes. Also, a little bit of luck with Camo going slightly off track, and also Arnold having to pit again. But you know what? That's all a part of it. So he should be there and pounce on it when the opportunities are there. So GG to Floppy.
Yep, he is. And can he catch up to Fernando in... I don't know how many laps we've got to go. So it is a 1 minute... What is the fast? I can't check the fastest lap. It's annoying because if I check the fastest lap in a race, it glitches the lobby. So I can't, which is frustrating. We obviously find out at the end of the race.
But the pace is maybe 130s or so. Maybe Irish is in the 29s.
Wow, that's That's 2 seconds slower, obviously, than our pole time, which was 127s, I believe.
Was 28-0, wasn't it? Or do I remember wrong? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but we're almost catching up to our pole time anyway. They are extending the track limits quite a bit in one of the curbs. There's quite a few chicanes here at Zolder as well, and that is why Zolder should come to every ACC season. Just saying, Apex, if you're watching. By the way, Apex was one of the drivers that came up with this calendar, and this is a great calendar, not gonna lie. So yeah, we need you for future seasons. We need you. So since everyone's pitted, let's go through your order now. So Iris the Bulldog is leading, 9.975 seconds over Mentalist in second, Khalifa in third, Fernando fourth, Flobby Fox in fifth. He's catching ever so slightly. You never know with the lapped cars on the window, but you're not going to catch up if you get to the gravel, my friend. Camo Babbo in sixth, Forza Brendan seventh, Sim Racer in eighth. He's doing a decent job as well. R Parker ninth, Boppo 10th, Cam in 11th, and Matthias at the moment is in 12th. And don't forget, the top 12 in our leagues get points. So we are running the point system. We run in F1s where the top 12 get points. So yeah, so everyone from P1 down to P12 at the moment will get points. So if P1 will get, so basically it's 20 point for first place, 1 point for 12th place. Any point in between at the moment as one lap done, 27 laps on lap. We're going to be on lap 29 very soon. We're about to finish lap 28, and I don't think Mentalist is catching up to Iris the Bulldog at the moment, so it is a long drawn conclusion at the moment between these two, but still a long season to go. We're not even done yet. We almost finished with the first round. We still got 7 more rounds to go and 2 more rounds to go, obviously, of this, the first 3 races to decide your splits.
It's going to be great, isn't it? So, with the battles we've had today, I really look forward to seeing what the guys can do on some of the other tracks that we have coming up, and also with the sprint races, because that's a different beast. There's no tactic. It's the tactics are off the table, if you will. It's just pedal to the metal and just go for it.
I love that saying. I love that saying.
It's there's no you have to be a little bit more aggressive as well, and some drivers it suits more than others, I would say. For myself, I'm more like a patient guy who likes to force people into making a mistake and set up the overtakes. But yeah,
people just want to go for it straight. People just want to go for it straight away and not be as patient. Or some people like to be a bit in between and be a bit in between and just play by ear, or just plan what you're gonna do in advance and see what the other driver does, because you gotta know the driver's style of driving to know what to do. Because some of the drivers, especially those who are not quite experienced at ACC, can be quite predictable. So if you know what their driving line is and their racing style, then that should be okay. As Fernando is getting past the lapped car, I believe. So he's not overtaken. So I believe that's about 3 cars that are lapped down at the moment. And actually, no, 4 cars. So I think Arnold is lapped as well. So everyone from P12 is on the lead lap, which is good because that's where you can get points right now as well. The wind has peaked down a little bit. The air temperature's gone down a bit as well. And it's currently, usually you can see the time, but we can't see the time at the moment, which is frustrating. In game, of course. But it must be quite hot out there, being the summer. Imagine what Zolder is like that in the rain.
Yeah, we started at 4 p.m. So and the multiplier is only at 1. So
probably like it'll be 5 o'clock at the end of this.
we're gonna finish at 5 o'clock. Yeah, so it's a 4:45 right now in game, and yeah, the sun is out, and but the track has actually dropped a couple of degrees. It's down to 29. We were at 31, I believe, when we started. So it's gonna affect the tire pressures a little bit, but I would assume that these guys, they have factored that in when they did their the pit strategy, and maybe changed the tire pressures just a tad for the lower temperatures in the second stint. At least that was what I would do. So I would imagine they have done it as well. And Camo just had a little bit. I think it was Camo. Yeah, he was a little bit off track coming out of the last corner. But he managed to keep the position ahead of Brendan. But those two are really going at it at the moment.
Yeah, they are at the moment. I think those are the two closest battles at the moment between Camo Babbo and Brendan. Maybe we could see a rivalry between those two next week. We don't know. Maybe we're giving Nick some ideas, because I think he was the one who wrote the questions this week. Thank you, Nick.
I think it would. Yeah, I think then he went off to vacation or whatever. So
yeah, he's in Spain. Lucky him. Well, he deserves it. He's been doing One Hub stuff and his real life job for quite a bit, so he deserves that break from One Hub. I think he's only gone for a week though, so he'll be back next week. I'm
sure you guys will manage, even with the bus out of the country.
Yeah, of course we've got obviously 3 ACC amateurs that are capable of running the league without him, so and we also got our steward as well. Don't forget, this race is stewarded as well. Oh, Arnaldo's gone off a little. Is that Arnald being lapped?
Yeah, that's Arnald being lapped. He almost lost it in turn 9.
He almost went into his ERT compatriot Camo Babbo.
Exactly.
Oh.
I would not have loved to see that being their boss. So luckily we avoided to have that conversation later. No contact.
Yeah, no contact, phew, because otherwise it would have been a disaster there. But Brendan's got a bit of speed into turn 2. Oh, he thought about it, but he did decide to go for it. There wasn't much space, and as Fernando Alonso said, all of the time you got to lead the space, and I think
it was fair racing. It was fair racing.
Yeah.
The Boatley is just a big car to get by, and Camo, he knows how to race as well. He's very experienced, so he knows how to place his car in a way that it's impossible to overtake. But it looks like Brendan has the pace over Camo at the moment, so Camo will have to fight really hard to keep his position.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Camo Babbo, but we know what he could do. He's been in the league for I think he's been in the league for pretty much every single season. Did he take part? I don't think he took part in season 2 though, but he has taken part in season 3 at least. I think.
There's a good battle for P4 as well. Floppy really closing in on Fernando now, putting pressure on him.
Floppy Fox's pace is doing stellar at the moment, and don't forget, between these two, it's Khalifa as well. So we could have a train growing in the next few laps or so. So watch out for that. As they head towards turn number 1 now. And I think the Ferrari could have the advantage over the Bentley as well. We'll see where Fernando rates, as he's gained a bit on Floppy Fox that lap as well. And of course, some of these drivers have only signed up to the league only this weekend, so obviously hasn't had that much time to practice. But obviously, Fernando's been in the Discord for quite a bit, so he's been practicing the calendar like no tomorrow.
Yeah, we always open the practice server, so it's open and usually in Wednesday before the race.
So they get a week. They get pretty much a week.
Almost a week of practice.
Almost a week of practice. So if they want to get used to the server conditions before they actually, it won't be necessarily the same weather that they will have in the actual race on the Tuesday, but they will get to. I think I'm not entirely sure, but
Floppy's gonna make a move here.
Yep, he's going to go for the move. He's going to go to the right. He's going to go before the start-finish straight of turn 9 and 10. Here he goes. Does he send it? Of course he sends it. Floppy Fox up into P4. And
he wanted that one. You could see it.
He wanted it after that trouble he had earlier. And he's closing in on Khalifa as well. So could Floppy Fox get back on the podium? Well, never say never for the man from IRL, the man who recently got hired as an admin only a few weeks ago. And, you know...
Vincent is actually closing not much, but a little bit on Iris. I think Iris is managing the race because he's not losing much. He's losing a couple of tenths each lap. But, yeah, 8.5 minutes to go. So, unless he makes a mistake, he has this under control, I would say, for P1. So no danger there, but the excitement is around, I would say, P3 and also further down.
I think a lot of excitement is happening throughout the race as well with 8 minutes to go. I think this is the moment of the race where it gets a bit slower in terms of time compared to the first half of the race at the moment. But just because you win the first race, it doesn't mean that you're going to be in split X straight away, because you could have 2 bad races and you could get put in the bottom split.
Exactly. And that's the hard brutality of this, that you can have 1 good race and you can have 2 less good races, and then that's how it is. So we saw how a few drivers were affected on lap 1, and I'm not going to say if anyone is to blame for that. That's up to the stewards. Luckily, not me anymore. So, but you can also see it's possible to come back. Both with Competizione and Floppy, maybe they have hoped to start in another way that they did, but still very nice comeback from them. And yeah, let's see. It's a long season, so I think this has been a good first race so far, and people need to focus on the last 7 minutes now, and don't make mistakes. Usually mistakes can happen in the latter part of the races, with people maybe losing concentration a little bit.
Fuel calculations as well, we got to think about. We have seen in the past where I've commentated on Project Cars 2, and I've saw quite a few drivers run out of fuel on the line because they miscalculated it. It's not good. A few people in the chat saying, can you race on a controller? Well, as Mr. Evil Dragon and Cam has proved on ACC, yes, you can do ACC on a controller. Not as well as obviously on a wheel, but it is possible. So if you're good on ACC on the controller, you might as well give it a go, see what happens. Now I know Ace of Twigs is rooting for Iris the Bulldog, who's still leading, by the way. Carmentis again, 7.7 seconds. He needs to gain a second a lap to catch up to Iris the Bulldog, which...
He's not doing that at the moment, and I think Iris is just managing the gap, to be fair. I'm sure Competizione is pushing like there's no tomorrow, but I think Iris has a little bit more pace if he needed to push as well. So I think he's managing, and again, really strong race from him. He just dominated this race, I would say. But again, also comeback kings are Competizione and Floppy with their stats, I would say. And yeah, a little bit of a shame for Arnold. Was looking good at some point, but then of course with the extra pit stop and at least 1 spin that I saw,
he might have got damaged. Maybe that's probably why he pitted early, or maybe he just forgot about the pit window. But lessons learned. Obviously, he hardly had any practice, like you were saying earlier, due to his broken pedal on his Fanatec, which can be quite temperamental, as I've learnt quite recently as well, as the gaps are not 7.6. So yeah, it's pretty much stable at the moment. But the gap that's not stable is Forza Brendan and Camo Baba. They're having a nice little battle for P6 right now. And
it's a really good battle.
this is going on for most of this race, actually. And points obviously mean massive in the long run. Obviously, it won't count towards the finals championship, but it'll count towards your placement. And if you get consistent results, well, you will be in the top split, but maybe this could be. I think there's obviously 20 drivers, so 10 drivers will be put in split X, 10 drivers will be put in split Z. We will be calling the same as that from season 2, because it'll probably be easier, I believe, as well. But Friend has lost a bit of time on camera bad with that lap due to the fact probably he got on the gravel a little bit too much. Oh!
Go. That's for
Tata. I thought I had a panic. I thought it was for the leaders. I thought it was for the leaders for track limits, but thank goodness it wasn't, because that would have been cruel in the last few minutes there.
It's you can have you can have like 3 warnings, and then the 4th one is when you get a penalty. So in that way, the game is quite lenient. It allows you to do a few mistakes, but this is a track where you can be penalized, because especially in the chicanes, if you cut them too much, then it's easy to get a warning, and you don't want to get too many of them driving maybe half an hour with just 1 warning left. That's a huge amount of pressure. So but guys have been really well behaved. Yeah, exactly.
Like F1, when you're on 2 warnings and you're driving to the limits for most of it, trying not to get that last warning. Oh my goodness. Floppy Fox, 9/10.
Yep.
Wow. He's on for a podium. He's not giving up without a fight. Well, don't forget, the man was P11, P10 after that spin. Now he's in fight for... Imagine what he would have been if he didn't spin with Car Mentalist. It would have. I think it would have been them 2 for the win.
Yeah, and he pitted early. I think maybe the undercut that he did there was quite good for him. You know, get out of the battles that he was stuck in, and getting a little bit of clean air and fresh rubber, and then just go from there. But it's gonna be a handful getting past Khalifa, I would say, because knowing Khalifa, he's not gonna make this easy yet. He's gonna fight for this podium. But now they're coming up to a lap car.
Yes, because the blue
it's one of the back markers. Yeah, he's gonna leave space, I would say. So
yeah, if he did,
there.
He moved out of the way.
Good driving, and they can continue their battle. But yeah, as I said, Khalifa's not gonna give this up easy. He's gonna hang on to that podium position if he can get it. So
I believe we'll have 2 more laps to go.
Let's see, where is Iris on track?
Iris number 77 is going through.
Coming into turn 5, right? The first chicane.
Yeah, so it will be, I believe, 2 more laps. Yeah, it'll be. So they're on the penultimate lap right now. And then it'll be the final lap when the next time he crosses the line.
Yeah, probably. We'll see when he crosses the line. Maybe there's actually going to be 2 more laps. Let's see. But at least 1 more, yeah.
Yeah, I think it will say when the leader's on the final lap anyway, because it will tell everybody.
Exactly.
So.
And Commentalis has taken out a second more, but again, it's a bit too late. So I think Iris is just managing the gap, like I said. But I think all eyes are going to be on the fight for P3, right? With Floppy and Khalifa. Floppy is really trying to force Khalifa into a mistake, I would say. Okay,
leaders on final lap. There we go. Yep. So we do get the confirmation that leaders on the final lap. Now it's do or die. It's do or die between Floppy Fox.
Last lap fight. Yeah.
So let's see. It is. Oh no! I think that's it.
Into the back of Khalifa there.
I think that's it for Floppy Fox. Unless he can. I think Khalifa forced Floppy Fox into a mistake there.
I don't know. Maybe he missed his braking point a little bit.
Yeah, I think he did.
Get close to Khalifa going on to the start-finish straight. But instead he got his tires dirty, and now he's too far behind. I can't see. Unless Khalifa makes a huge mistake, there's no coming back from this one, I would say. But that's not going to stop him from trying. Knowing Floppy, he's going to fight for it. So, yeah.
Oh, this is going to be absolutely insane. But we got to draw our attention to this man he has never put a foot wrong this whole race. Ever since Car Mentalist and Floppy Fox made contact on the first few turns, first few corners, he took the lead and he pretty much stayed there, apart from obviously when he pitted and quite a few people decided to stay out. So, Iris the Bulldog comes across the line and he wins in Zolder for the first round of the season. Carmentis comes across the line in P2. I think you'll be happy with that after that contact earlier. So, we're watching the battle for Khalifa and Floppy Fox for third. This could go up to the line, but I think Khalifa just about has enough in hand.
This one. Yeah. So Khalifa P3 and Floppy P4, but still really good comeback from Floppy, I would say. I know he's probably going to be a little bit disappointed, but still really, really good.
Fernando,
and again, Fernando P5,
rookie of the day, I would say. Speaking of that, we got to pick 2 drivers of the day and a question.
We have.
Yeah, because otherwise Jamie will tell us off, and yeah.
We don't want that.
No, we don't. Forza Brendan in 7th, Sim Racer in 8th, R Parker in 9th, Cam in 10th, Boppo, Arnaud, Matthias, Corday, Taz, and Tata now.
That's coming to the line now.
Right, we will need to get the gaps as well at some point. So as soon as he crossed the line, we could do that. So qualifying, we'll get the qualifying results. They're up on your screen, and then we've got the race results there as well. Luckily, the gaps are easier because it's one class. So those are your gaps. So Iris the Bulldog P1, Car Mentalist P2, Khalifa P3, Floppy Fox 4th, Fernando 5th, Camo Babo 6th, Forza Brendan 7th, Sim Racer 8th, R Parker 9th, Cam in 10th, Bopper 11th, and Arnaud will get your final point. Matthias 13th, and we got Corday, Taz, and Tata, and obviously we had 2 that did not start the race. I'm just trying to think.
They started, but they left.
They disconnected. The race. Yeah, they either disconnected or left the race. Fernando gained quite a few places inside the top 10. I think it's inside the top 10. It's either... It might be Fernando actually that gets the comeback point, but I'm sure the other admins will be doing the maths in chat. But we will be choosing our driver of the day. One each. We've got a feedback question. I will let you go first. Who is your driver of the day, and what would you like to ask him?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think there is definitely a few which could be in contention for driver of the day. Should I pick here? I would have to say maybe, and I'm not biased here because he's ERT, but I have to go with Khalifa. I think Khalifa, I know he did the GC4s last season, but he's not that much into ACC. He only raced in one hub last season and now this season as well. But getting a podium here in the first race and a really good race, and it didn't look like he made much mistakes or anything, and he held off Floppy at the end. And yeah, so I would say a podium for him is a really good result. So yeah, my question to him is how did the McLaren feel on Zolder, and how much pressure did you have those last rounds with Flop just behind you?
Well, to be honest, I that was one of my picks, so that's mine gone out the window. Well, I'm either torn between Fernando and Iris the Bulldog. I think I'm torn between those two, but well, I would have to go with Iris the Bulldog because he didn't buckle under pressure. He was doing a great job and he pretty much dominated. So I have to go with him. But obviously Fernando is my honourable mention, so fair play to Fernando as well. But my question to Iris the Bulldog, so you started off the season well, with a win. You joined midway through last season. Are you aiming for the title this year? And what's it going to take to beat Car Mentalist to the title? So that is my question to Iris the Bulldog. But I'm just trying to remember what we agreed about the interviews. I think it is podium, I believe. So
yeah, should we
get... Yeah, so I will mention the... But I don't think Iris is on Discord. No, Iris is not on Discord at the moment. But but we know our other two would want to speak to us.
should I message them in the Discord?
Yeah. That'll because I think both of them would like to speak to them as well. But Car Mentalist did apologise to Floppy Fox for that one incident, so that's good. That's good already. So I think huge respect from the drivers then already. I'm trying to think what order we should start with. Should we? I think since Khalifa's in the party first, we may as well speak to one of our driver of the day nominees, Khalifa. So we will drag him in. Hopefully he's not on his phone, because otherwise we will have to go into the waiting for interview box there. But anyway, we're now going to be speaking to our P3 man, Khalifa. How you doing? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised by that, to be honest. I didn't think I had the pace for a podium, but I got a bit lucky with a couple instants ahead.
Yeah, because obviously you were used to the GT4s last season, hasn't done many GT3s for quite a while. How was it quite tough to track around Zolder?
Honestly, like my first 45 minutes of practice, I was doing like 32s, 31s, and I thought I was doing quite well until I asked people who are actually experienced with ACC, and they said I should be aiming for like 29, 28s. So, like Arnold said in the rivalries press conference, I've been doing quite a bit of practice last few days. But yeah, I really like the McLaren. I think it suits my driving style. It's a bit similar to how the F1 cars is in terms of all its downforce on the rear end and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers have picked the McLaren. Actually, it's the most popular car as well. And but you also had some nice battles with your teammate as well for with the race with Arnold. Was that good to relive that?
Yeah, it's a shame we both made so many mistakes, because I think we actually would have been quite close for the whole race. And I'm not sure if it was caught on stream, but Arnold actually served a pit stop but forgot to change tyres, so he had to take a second one, unfortunately.
So that was why it didn't pop up as being mandatory. Me and Dexter were discussing on, well, did he pit? Did he not?
I was sure he was entering the pits, but we couldn't really understand why it didn't register his pit stop. We were quite sure that he might have missed either fuel or tires, but okay.
Yeah, it was tires. It was tires, unfortunately. I don't know how it's happened, but yeah, I guess it's one of those things that can just happen on ACC, unfortunately.
Well, I'm sure that you're quite happy that he didn't get to see your McLaren in his rearview mirror.
Oh
like
yes,
he had me in
his rearview mirror for quite a few laps actually, until he had his unfortunate spin off the curb. But yeah,
we actually,
it was quite difficult overtaking him.
Yeah, he made life very tricky. He had a good battle also with Competizione when he was coming through the grid as well. So it looks like he actually had good pace in the race, I would say. But you also had some battling with Fluffy in the end. How was that?
Yeah, I think I made a couple of mistakes which brought him a bit closer than I think he probably would have been if I kept it consistent. But there's just one shaky moment on the second last lap where he misses braking point at the last chicane. I thought he was going to hit me, but yeah, managed to keep it clean in the end when it mattered.
A good start for you with a podium. So is that what we can expect from you in this championship?
I don't want to get my hopes up because I think Floppy is quicker than me. But I guess I'll have to see. It depends on how practice goes for the rest of the season.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, we will let you go because we need to speak to our P2 man as well. But a big congratulations and best of luck for round 2 next week.
Thank you very much.
Right, we will speak to the man now that we're probably been used to speaking of some time. We used to be speaking to him as a race winner, but he come across the line in P2. We got Car Mentalist in the booth with us. How are you doing? Can you hear us?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I sound all good on my end. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. You sound good for us, my friend. So you put the car on pole position, but that one was a bit chaotic for you, Floppy. Talk to us what happened there.
Yeah, that one's completely on me. I think it's been a while since I've driven a GT3 car. And coming into turn 1, lap 1, I just kind of, with cold tyres and cold brakes, just outbraked myself and missed the corner pretty much, and took Floppy with me, which is unfortunate. It wasn't obviously horrible for my race. I mean, it could have gone a lot worse, but not ideal for the first race of the season. So yeah, just a bit of a silly error for my part.
Yeah, I think you both seem to be blaming yourselves because Floppy Fox thinks it was his fault. So, but at least you don't think it's anyone else's fault, which is great to see. But apart from that, you seem to be making a comeback throughout the field. Was it something that you was expecting after that spin earlier?
I was hoping so, yeah. I think once I'd got past the majority of the traffic, I was hoping I could have a run at Bulldog at the front of the field. But I think just too much kind of stuff happened around the pit stop phase for me to be able to really do that. I had contact with a back marker, got damage from that, had other contact with back markers as well, and it just kind of, it dropped me back behind Khalifa again. So that kind of put paid to me having a proper run for the win. But I'm happy with the progress back through I made and some of the overtakes as well. It's really difficult to overtake at Zolder, so the fact I was able to pull any off in a car that's quite slow in a straight line is good at least. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my comeback. Yeah, just wish I didn't make the mistake on the first lap.
And what made you pick the McLaren again this season with the same livery you run in season 1? Was it a car that you felt most comfortable in?
Pretty much, yeah. I tried the Audi, as you know, in season 2, and then obviously was in GT4 cars last season. I don't know what it is about the McLaren. There's just something about it that I just seem to hook up with really well. It's a good mixture of balanced and nimble, and it just seems to suit my style for some reason. I think there's something about a car that's a bit on edge that I quite like. I like a car that's a little bit lively underneath me. And I think the McLaren's a bit more of an all-rounder than cars like the Audi, I would say. I think it's a bit more like, there's maybe not the tracks where it is alien fast, but it doesn't have the tracks like the Audi does where it's really, really bad and it doesn't suit the track at all. So yeah, that's why I went back with it. Plus as well, of course, I've had a lot of success with it in the past. So why fix it if it's not broken?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's helped you very, very well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do with that next week. Dexter, do you have any questions for Car Mentalist?
Nah, I think we pretty much covered it. I would say that I'm quite impressed with your drive through the grid. That was really good. I know it wasn't the start that you were hoping for sure. But coming through the grid was really impressive, and I think going away here with P2 is not the worst start. So still a long season, and it's looking promising. But I just want to ask, how much damage did you have? Because you lost a bit of time to Khalifa in the pits, as you say yourself.
Yeah, so I lost about 4 or 5 seconds with the actual incident itself, and then I had, I think, about like 8 or 9 seconds worth of damage, and it just brought Khalifa back into my rage, and he was able to jump me. And I didn't want to roam around with damage on the car. I'd just rather be safe, maybe drop a position, try and get it back. So yeah, I lost about that much time. So it wasn't horrendous, but just annoying, really, that I wasn't within range of Bulldog by the end.
Yeah, and especially if it's on the front end of the car, and the McLaren is on downforce dependent, so it's not fun if the damage is at the front of that car, I would say. But
yeah,
it's still, a good comeback, and I think you can take some positives from that at least, and then we go again for the next round.
Yeah, can't wait. Thank you.
Awesome, and I don't think we have Iris in the waiting room. No, we don't. So I think that's it. That is it for this round for round number 1 for ERT Zolder in Belgium. And I need to check where we are next week. We are at Donington Park in Great Britain on the 5th of July. And firstly, I'd just like to say thank you to Dexter for saving my bacon here tonight, because it would have been honestly quite hard on my own. Did you enjoy yourself, Dexter?
Yeah, I actually did. And again, being beside a legend like you, then it's easy. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed myself, and as you know, I love ACC, and
Yes.
yeah, it's a treat. So let's see. Maybe I'll do a comeback again at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, you
I'm
did a
not
great
scared.
job. Yeah, you did a
I'm not
very good
scared.
job. So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'm sure people in the chat can agree with you as well. But by the way, we need a commentator for the rest of the season, by the way. So if you are on PS5 and want to commentate with me, just message me on Twitter or Twitch or Discord. That'll be great. But we will be Donington Park next week at Silverstone. Make sure you join us then. But we've still got more ACC action still to go on Thursday. I nearly said Wednesday. No, it's on Thursday at Monza for the Super Trofeo Cup on the PC side. Dexter's going to be racing. Apex is going to be racing. Evil Jagger's going to be racing. Samba's going to be racing. Johanna's going to be racing. Quite a lot of people are going to be racing, okay? So if you want to support your favourite driver, starts at 10 PM on our Twitch channel. Luke Etheridge and Paul Citrix will be commentating. It's going to be great. Make sure you join us. Make sure you check out our sponsors, ERT, Vespertine, Next Level Racing, Pure Sim Gear, and SimGrid. But for now, I'm going to end the stream. Have a good evening, and we will see you on Thursday for the first round of our PC ACC League. Goodbye.